We're ready. Hey, what is going on?
Rock and rolling on a Friday, mid-August, show number 73 with the great Brad Grunny Grunberg, a.k.a. Snacks, Johnny Cocktails, Captain Pool Party, and Chunky Love in the house. Talk to me.
I like Captain Pool Party. I like that. That's really cool. I'm Captain Pool Party. Things are good. I had a good day yesterday, really busy. Some really good things are happening. And you're not involved in any of them. So I'm very excited about that. But no, there's some great stuff. I can't talk about it. But I know one thing. We're in the home stretch, which is good. A little horse racing analogy there. How was work last night?
Good. It's always good. You know, every time I get a chance to talk to someone, it's good. And, you know, it's.
Do you ever go to sleep in the back booths, where no one is? You never sleep.
You got people gambling. You got people in there. What are you going to do? Hey, watch a bar for me while I take a 15-minute power nap. No, it doesn't work that way.
Let me ask you. Let me ask this last question, then we'll bring on our guest. You're a horny guy. You're in your 60s. You're very horny. Anytime I bring in a girl, you're always like, wow. So you still have your libido. So do you ever, go into the bathroom, lock the door because you have that.
There's no lock. There's no lock. Go ahead.
I thought you have a thing. Don't you have you open it for people with the remote? Oh, okay. So you go in there, and then do you ever just pull down your pants, sit on the toilet, and jerk off and pleasure yourself?
Let's bring on one of your crazy guests.
Have you ever done that?
I don't know where you're going with this, but I mean,
I don't even know where I'm going with it, but I like it.
You know what? Sometimes you say shit and then you.
Here we go.
You're the kind of guy that trash talks and can't back it up. If you're in a basketball court and you're trash talking, come on, fish, you can't throw a 3 on me, and I do. You're lucky. Do I jerk off in a bathroom at work? Oh God, no! I'm gonna come to your house and jerk off in your bathroom.
Okay. That would be great. My parents would love that. And you got to clean the mess up, man.
I get to edit that one out. Let's do it.
Okay. Well, let's bring on our guest today. This guy is something special. He's a free spirit. And he got me involved in comedy at the University of Arizona, Tucson. And I think it was 85 or 86. He's a very intelligent guy. He's off his fucking rocker. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, say hello to Mr. Mystic.
Hi, everybody. Hello, guys. How are you?
Hello.
Hey, Mr. Mystic.
I'm still trying to wash myself off from the bathroom thing. What's going on here? Clothes on or off?
We talk about a lot of things on this
All
show.
right. All right. Let me get the glasses off for a moment here. Yeah.
All right. There you go. There you go.
Okay.
You're a very handsome guy. You don't need those glasses.
I still try. I still try to kind of get up in the morning and look at that mirror going, am I okay to go outside and see the world and be on this podcast? And thank you guys for having me. I've done a lot of Academy Awards, Emmys, Wheel of Fortune, America's Got Talent, a lot of corporate shows, Saudi Arabia. This is it. I've made it. Thank you.
Mark, where
I should be looking? Oh, this is a new setup. Where's the camera? Are my eyes at you if I look right there?
Yeah, you look right into the. Look right at the computer. Are you on the computer or your phone?
I'm not. I'm filming a movie in Costa Rica. We were down on the beach, but it was too hot, and then we're in a hotel. I'm sorry, we're in the Tenderloin of San Francisco. I am so sorry about that. That's a mistake.
Whatever that means.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, Mark. Okay. Yeah. Let me ask you a question. So
yes.
Mystic, how did it all start for you? Let's start with how we met back at the University of Arizona. I was a ZBT fish, okay?
Yes.
And he was an AE Pi. Rival fraternities, Jewish fraternities.
The two Muslim fraternities on campus, yes. Sorry, Jewish. They're Jewish.
Okay. Oh my God. Yeah. But you got along with everybody in my fraternity because you're a Renaissance man. You got along with everybody in my fraternity.
I'm likable. I'm likable. I actually just I like the University of Arizona. All you need is a pen to sign full tuition, and you're in. That's the secret there. But the deal is I like to party, and I wanted to go to school that's hot, that has not very expensive to be there. A lot of good-looking people, and so the more parties I can go to, the better. So the more friends I had at all the fraternity houses, the better. And it was really, you guys had great parties, and it was a very, the focus was on some of the schools, business and architecture, science, astronomy, health, all good. But then there was that little category, Brad, you and I were in, and I met you there. And I met you during the beginning of the whole thing. You were with a guy named Michael Norris. Should I even say his name? We're on air, right? But anyway, I met you guys. You guys were great. I said, you should do comedy. You do comedy? He goes, well, I'm from LA, and you're very quiet about your background. But sure enough, I got you on stage. We hung out, and the rest is history. Look at you. You're in LA. I'm watching Larry David. You're falling on top of sleeping with Larry David. Sleeping with Larry David. Yeah. So you're doing okay.
Yeah, Mark, let me ask you this. Very important. Mark started comedy in Tucson. He started a club called the Comedy Zone.
That's right.
Mark, where did we? You put me on stage that night, my first time ever on stage.
Right.
I bombed a bad one. Let me ask you: did you?
But you bomb when people like you.
They like me. I was likable.
Some people bomb and they want to beat you up outside.
Yeah.
Brad actually was likable, so that's the first. If people actually are going to put up with you and not start throwing things at you or yelling stuff, you actually have the crowd. It's just they were like, can this guy come up with something funny?
Yeah. Where did we film that in Tucson? The Comedy Zone was at a restaurant?
It was the back room of a Carmel, I think, was Carmel restaurant shut down by the DEA and the sheriff's department for taxes. It was like I was wondering how the guy on the handshake was letting us do the show back there.
Yeah.
But anyway.
You were fantastic.
Yeah, Carmel, and he had a pet monkey, which was let him run around. But it was a back little long room and brick wall, and it looked like New York, and it was just really great to see you. You were you're nervous, and you were up there, and it was great. Yeah.
Fish, I got to tell you this story. So Mark and I had something in common, and see, let me start this, Mr. Mystic.
Yeah.
Eric Fish Snyder went to the University of Texas.
Oh, okay.
Believe it or not,
Austin. Yeah. All right.
And believe it or not, this guy fucking studied, really fucking applied himself. Mark and I.
What did he study? Eric? What did you study there?
Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead, Fish.
I studied that when I graduated college, and 40 years later, never do a podcast with Brad Grumberg. That was my thesis paper. By the way, Mr. Mystic,
I screwed my way to the
Mystic,
bottom.
I'm working the control panels here, and I got a couple of emails from the dead. Patrick McNee from the Avengers and Burgess Meredith from the Batman. They want their top hat back, the Penguin. All right.
Bert, phenomenal. I think it was in the Twilight Zone in the beginning there was something. Yeah. But yeah. And so
I want to say this. Mr. Mystic. As we took classes, Mr. Mystic was such a genius. He would go to this place called Harville Building, which I called Harville High, where all the business classes were and the classrooms. He would go to a classroom, look at the classroom, and see if it was feasible to cheat until he decided what courses to take and what teachers to apply to get into their class. It was so genius. He didn't like the setup. He wouldn't take the class. Correct, Mr. Mystic?
Unfortunately, that was part of the program for me. I will admit that I was not the best student. Did I already say that I liked to party? And so there's certain teachers and classes were great, but in general, most require. Why do I need to learn anthropology and drama history? I mean, we like drama. We know there's big theaters back in the day, but I mean, it was a drama. You were in that class, the drama class,
drama 140.
Yeah, and that was the class you had to be in that big room. Otherwise, don't take the class. So some of them were in small rooms. You want the giant room where there's not enough teachers to watch. You take an exam, and the bigger the room. So the room that fit 40 people, You got to get in the room with 300 or 200 or even that giant theater they had. But so Brad and I were there, and that was. So are we talking about the jump? Are we talking about the leap?
Tell it. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So the whole idea was a pyramid, and all the fraternities and even the sororities had this pyramid where the smartest guy sat in the front, and then 2 people behind him, or 4, and then 8, and then 20. It kind of goes a pyramid. So everybody's really cheating off of one guy in the very front, and everybody's supposed to pay him some money, and it's worth his time and all that. And then I saw him on the big exam day, and I said, and Brad, you were there on that. And I said, hey, why are you so upset? I think guy's name was Glenn. And he goes, oh, I didn't get any money. I go, oh, well, everybody take care of you after. He goes, that's what they said last time. I said, whoa. So what do you say? He says, I'm not helping anybody. I said, dude, there's like 100 people at least that are depending upon the top of the pyramid. So, and they brought in extra TAs for some reason. I guess the last exam didn't go as well. So now all of a sudden they brought people in from security, from the SWAT team. I mean, this is huge amount. There's like one every 4 rows. Before it's like four people for the whole room, right? And I'm like, this is ugly. And so we're there, and I go, Glenn, just stay right there. I'm like right behind him, and he goes, no. And at the last second, like a minute before the class starts, he leaps forward one row. He breaks the pyramid.
Oh, no.
Okay, so everybody is like, what are you doing? Everybody starts jumping seats. It looks like a whole bunch of horses going over fences at a farm, ranch, and I'm sitting there going, oh my, this is, and all the TAs are like, whoa, and we're breaking everybody up. Well, that was a bad day. That was a bad
that
day.
was that was drama 140. Yeah, that was.
I slipped Brad $50 for 2 20s. He was happy.
Yeah, I was happy.
Yeah, a lot of people were not happy.
It was a great time because we didn't have to study, and it was in Harville 150. But you look at Fish, it's like we're talking a foreign language because Fish really studied. And what was your grade point average, Fish, at UT?
It was good. Yeah, but I partied just like you guys did.
Except, but to even get into UT,
I actually got the women that I went to the parties with.
Right.
Wow.
My grade point average was 3.6.
Jesus.
And I'm bowing down. I'm right now on this. I'm not going to bow down here. But I'm not worthy. This is we have someone smart in the room.
Really?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, UT. My dad went to UT. My dad went.
There you go.
UT.
Good.
Yeah. So, and Peter Herman was doing a show there. Speaking of Peter Herman, he started out doing these little clubs, and in particular Texas. He liked the Texas crowds. Yeah. So that's So UT. That's great. That's great. But Brett.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Fish, he studied. He graduated in 4 years. Mark, Mr. Mystic, did you graduate in 4 years?
I did. I got credit for running that comedy club through the entrepreneurship program.
Wow.
With one of the professors at the university who was a big comedy fan, a fan of my act, and he says, "Hey, do you get it? You're running this whole. you're in charge?" I said, "Yeah," and he's telling me about it. I said, "Can you hook me up?" He says, "You get me some free passes, I'll hook you in the program." And so, because the hard club, we only had 60 seats, so it's a hard club to get into. But and it was the only comedy club, so everybody wanted their dinner, and you had to actually eat dinner at the restaurant to even get into the club to eat. You had to watch. But I got that program, and I got so many credits from that allowed me to graduate on time. So, because I did not do. I was not the best student there. No.
So
Fish, let's move away from this student stuff.
We're moving on. Fish, you read Mr. Mystic's bio. Do you have any questions for him?
I got a couple of questions for him. Before we get into his Jay Leno
Jay Leno,
occurrence, I got to ask you about this. You are involved as an entrepreneur in some kind of a health thing where there's no caffeine. I want you to talk about that's supposedly going to just break out in 2025 and get us all good again.
Young again.
Talk about that.
Okay, so my mother had dementia, and I have a little science background. I've been into science since 5 years old. So young Sheldon, I watched that. I go, that was me with science, and I wondered, why did she get it? And because I thought everybody got it, and then all of a sudden I'm finding out that no, not everybody gets it. And, memory loss is not age related, so that was interesting. And so I said, well, does everybody get it all over the world? And it turns out every country, thank you Google, the data, they have everything online. And turns out not everybody gets dementia, not everybody gets Parkinson's, not everybody gets ALS. And so, and then we move forward to see schools. Not everybody gets measles. Not everybody gets Legionnaire's disease. COVID was a great example. Not everyone. Some people, like in a room full of people with COVID, no COVID. What is that? In fact, COVID is forwarding into the future, because when I was working on this, COVID wasn't around. But I said to myself, what separates people in Thailand or North Korea or several other countries that don't really have severe disease? And so we moved forward to that was in 2016, and by 2017 I actually had a real good theory and an idea of how to maybe resolve disease. Again, I had arthritis, and I had sciatica, and I couldn't eat ice cream, and I was starting to get allergic to milk, and all these things that happened to, where are my keys, where to park the car. I mean, people are, thinking that's normal. It's not normal. At 99 years old, your brain should be just as good as when you're 15 or 20 or whatever. So I then did the treatment on myself, and what was shocking was that when I had bad memory, so I got my comedy, my timing, my everything looked like my mom, and I said, I did it myself, and what was shocking was the next morning after I did this treatment, Eric, are you there? Did we lose Eric?
I'm here.
Okay. And so I'm done with this conversation. And so bye.
Don't worry, I'm
So
always going to be with
I
you.
woke up the next morning. I said, well, my memory's still bad. Of course, I anticipated about 30 days. This on May 21st, 2017, and in June 21, I expected on my birthday to my memory better by way of my theory that I came from all this data and all. And this treatment I started. And so the next morning, my sciatica was better. And I went, that's really, well, I'm still limping, but it was like I woke up and that was great. Next day, even better. Next day, all of a sudden, I'm like, if I resolved sciatica, at least I could run across the street on a red light, which I have a tendency to do. And I couldn't do it with sciatica. And so I said, wow, memory's still bad. But a week later, I remembered where I put my keys in the car. You put stuff take stuff out of your pockets. And I mean, every day I'm like, can I just put it in the same spot? Well, when your memory's bad, you can't remember where that same spot was, where you decided. So I literally a week later remember the keys, remember where my car parked, where I went to get my coffee, came out the parking lot. I remembered exactly where the car was. I'm like, I go to Starbucks, you know how they ask you for your name? And then you go, you say, why do they have to ask the name? There's nobody in the store, right? And, I'm the only one here. Thank you, Bob Sarlot, for that. But I would say, they would say, what's your name? And I go, and like, for a second. And the person wrote on the cup, and then my name. And I'm like, why'd you write there? Because that's what you said. I said, why would I say, before my name? Like, I have to think of my name. Well, then a week later, I went to the Starbucks, and I had my name right there when they asked the question. So that's when I realized that is, and my psoriatic arthritis by then was almost, how you get it in the morning and it hurts to walk to get in the shower. And after about an hour, you're like, okay, my bones are back, right? Well, all of a sudden I'm like, people are saying, wow, you're really walking with a kind of a, are you okay? Are you walking like you have no problem? Because people used to see me with a limp, a little bit of not walking right. Well, fast forward, that's 2017. Now we're talking 2024. Well, it turned out came down with a flu in 2018. And I said, I wonder if my treatment will stop the flu. And it did. So I didn't come down with, how you come down with that horrible feeling and you're going, I'm done. So I did that treatment on myself. And all of a sudden the next morning, I'm like still feeling awful, but I wasn't feeling worse. The first day of the flu, the second day you go, I'm done, right? You got to start coughing up, things that are moving, right? And then the next day, my voice is still bad, but I'm feeling like, wow, I feel actually better. So I never actually had to stay in bed. And on the fourth day, I'm like, I kicked the flu, but the voice stayed bad for about a week and a half after. So it's so weird. People are saying, dude, you're sick, get away. And I said, no, it's just, I couldn't even explain this treatment, right? Oh yeah, I stopped the flu, sure. But the voice is the last thing, first thing to start going, the last thing to leave, just FYI. Then COVID, it turned out this stops viruses. So yeah, I haven't been sick since 2018.
Wow.
I got take that back. Got sick and I did a birthday party for kids at Mr. Mystic, and all the kids were coughing. And see, next morning I'm like, oh, I think I'm coming. I went to the lab and it stopped. Cold was gone in 2 hours. So I have not. And I used to lose my voice every year and a half. Never have lost my voice since. I've been sick, and it's miraculous. So now,
what is it called? Tell us what it's called. Is it medicine? Is it pill form?
the technology involves taking these minerals, which are on the planet. And if you look at life on the planet, one of the things besides water, sun, and oxygen is a subset of the minerals. And if they're all taken correctly, life is generally good. And you get these blue zones where people are naturally kind of getting that, not perfect, but it's better than other areas that are polluted, and you got smoke and you got fires in California, and the water has metal in it. They put metal into water to get the dust out. So now we have a water shortage. So it's reclaimed water, and now that compound, nobody wants to see dust in their water. So countries where you drink the tap water, you'll see a higher rate of disease and a higher rate of COVID and all that. And so countries where you're drinking mineral water, which the better the mineral water, the more expensive it is. And so I have a team and a company formed, and now my character is going to be doing one segment of that. So the branding of this technology is so take that back. So once you get the minerals in you, you either get the right band of energy from the sun, the frequencies are right, and your skin can tolerate it. Now we have this high temperature, so a lot of people are afraid of cancer, and you should be. But when you're on this treatment, your skin gets thicker and you can withstand the sun. So that's a key thing. But once you get that right frequencies, it interacts with those substances, and then it makes you superhuman, or makes you as you should be for life on a planet. And the issue is, I can't believe I'm getting so serious, and I'm Mr. Comedy. I'm so funny, but the reality is that the technology that this company that I'm with, and I'm kind of the founder, but we've got now a team, replicates the sun in a burst. So you don't have to be in the sun for 6 to 8 hours, and it'll just activate. And so within the fish, you'd be in there for I'd say about 4 to 5 minutes. Brad, you too, but you work your way up to preferably around 10. I'm in there for 22 minutes. I can lift more. I can run. I can bike right up a hill. You just feel, you grow an inch. You don't really grow an inch. All your bones kind of become like a baby's, really soft bones and rubbery. Bones become like that. So we think athletes, of course, who suffer problems, we have a lot of data that supports from fertility to disease to viruses to sports, especially.
Have you had a
And people,
clinical trial? Have you had a clinical
there are
trial?
clinical trials happening. It's been happening since 2018.
Beautiful.
There's obviously a concern over skin cancer that could happen, but there's a lot. We're finding out that the people that are susceptible to skin cancer are people that really should that really need the treatment. Really, they're actually, if you have cancer in your skin, you have a lot more going on in your body, and if you're not at a doctor, go get to a doctor, because that's a key thing. I can give you about 100 symptoms that you need to be concerned about, that if you have just even 10 of them, you need to really understand that this is part of aging, and aging is a disease, as we've discovered, and we're confirming. A lot of scientists believe that, but that we're steadfast on that. That is definitely a key thing, aging. But yeah, how do we go from here to comedy?
Yeah, we're going to go into the comedy, but
Okay.
isn't it amazing, Fish? This guy had to fucking cheat through college to get his diploma. He's fucking brilliant. I mean, what happened to you? You took
science and math are really.
Those were your strong points.
Well, no, not math. I mean, I love math and math magic with math, and it's amazing when you see magic work with math and numbers, and you see the magicians start telling you what numbers in that box. It's really a formula, but the reality is that math and science are really languages to me and to a lot of people, and of course scientists tell you that, and that you really don't. You need a degree. It'd be nice to be getting the degree in chemistry and biology and all that, but you really can study it and have an understanding of these two topic, the math and science, to really you cannot become an expert, because I'll never consider myself a scientist because I don't have that degree and that full spectrum of understanding. But although when I do talk to scientists, where'd you hear that? I go look it up, and they text me going, you're right. So there's volumes of stuff and centuries and Nobel Prize winners who had theories, and I took those theories from several Nobel Prize winners of chemistry, and that's where I started, because they had ideas of how life happens on a planet and where things go wrong,
Fish, I have a public service announcement, and then we're going to get into the Jay Leno thing. Be a nice segue. This man, Mr. Mystic, ladies, he is single. Just want you to know, he has two beautiful boys, but this man is single and ready to mingle. Am I right? Are you available to the ladies out there?
Now you said two. I thought there may be more.
There may be more, but you don't know about them.
I don't know the full count, but I am. What's the great thing about this treatment is you actually you get grounded, and you stop making some mistakes. And so,
what is it called? What is this therapy called? What is the?
It's BioVerse is the working name we have, but we're trademarking just these incredible logos and names, and it's really something. But we have nothing for sale right now.
Gotcha.
So people, after I do one of these interviews, I get people saying, "Let me buy it." It's in trials, but it's not, and it won't need FDA approval unless I make the claim that it makes you young again.
Oh, good.
And so we are ironically trying to turn this into a drug to make it stronger, because a lot of people don't like taking pills every day. So and we're not a supplement company, so yeah.
So Fish, let's talk comedy with Marc, Mr. Mystic Levinson. What's your question?
Well, it seems like he's one of these guys like Forrest Gump that is in a room and people coagulate to him, like Stephen Colbert, and share with us your Jay Leno story, and let's see if you do the imitation like you say you can.
Oh yeah.
We're your judges on America's Got Talent, so let's hear your Jay Leno story.
Okay, well, you want judges, or we're talking about America's Got Talent?
No, I want you to talk about your Jay Leno story. We'll be the judge whether or not you do
I was a seat filler, hold the press. I was a seat filler for 4 or 5 years. Academy Awards, Emmys, some other award shows. And of course, as a seat filler, you try to work your way to.
Can you do me a favor? Can you explain to our audience what a seat filler is?
Okay. So when a star goes to the bathroom, wins an award, or wants to go get some booze and drinks and party, great food outside the theater room. It was at the Shrine for many years, but then it went to Nokia. And someone has to sit in the seat, because when the camera pans the lower audience, if you notice, there's always a full crowd. Well, there's probably 150 seat fillers in there. It's actually sometimes more now with that bigger theater. And so during that break, that's when switches happen. And it's really amazing during the break. And if you want to, I don't know if you've been to an award show, Fish. Have you been to an award show?
I have.
Wild how chaotic it gets for that 2-minute break, the commercial, and so everybody's out of control. But the reality is they sit all the seat fillers in the room before while the red carpet's going on, and everybody's scattered. And then when a star says, "That's my seat," you move to an empty seat. So the seat fillers are already in position and play, because a lot of stars actually are still on the red carpet. A lot of them go, let's go get a drink, talk business. A lot of business is going on. And so a lot of seat fillers are lucky enough to be already seated when the show starts. And so I, of course, worked my way from my Harville days to make sure I'm in the top tier of the seat fillers to be in the prime spots. Anyway, so I'm in the third row, and this is when Johnny Carson died. So all the hosts were there, and I'm sitting there, and I see Jay Leno come in early, with less than 150, less than 300 people in the room. If he comes in early, it's air conditioned, so a lot of people stars don't want to sweat out there. He comes in, he's with this, I don't know, some other guy. They sit about on the 20th row. We have about 15 rows behind me, and I'm like, oh my God, it's Jay Leno. And I said, wow, I performed in Arizona on a morning show, and I had a comedy club, and I was invited to go backstage after Jay's performance at the University of Arizona. He did the big place in Arizona, the big arena, and I'm back there in this little party, and they were filming Three Amigos, and everybody's coming in. Chevy Chase, John Landis, March, everybody's there. So I see Jay, and I go up to Jay and his wife, and I said, hey, Jay, sorry, back up. So I'm on the third row. Jay and I make eye contact. So Jay looks at me, and he waves, and I go, oh, wow, I wonder if he remembers me from Arizona. So he walks out of the row, comes to my row, and he's standing there, and he comes up to me and goes, hi, how you doing? I'm Jay Leno. How you doing? What's going on? And I'm going, that's a little Jay there. And I said, hey, Jay, I don't know if you remember me, but backstage after your show in Arizona, way back in 85, 86, I came up to you and I asked you, if you had any advice for beginning comics. And he said, and he goes, oh, yeah, I give advice all the time. What would I say to you? And I said, you said that you should take every gig you can get. No matter what it is, if it's a backyard party, if it's wherever, free, whatever, you'll learn something on every show. And I told him that, and he goes at the Emmys, and he goes, yeah, that's exactly. And look how successful you are. You're in the third row. I'm in the 20th row. This is crazy. And I'm like, my seat filler badge, by the way, is under my armpit. I'm absolutely hiding that badge. You have to wear a badge as a seat filler. And so he was just like shaking my hand, going, "What are you working on?" And well, it turns out I was telling this story to some Hollywood people, and they said, "Oh, well, at the show, if you're sitting in the third row and they don't know you're a seat filler and you're not recognizable from television or movies, you are maybe their next gig." So they're absolutely, you're going to be. I was wondering, why are these stars so friendly to me? When the badge is hiding, you're not supposed to have the badge hiding. And so that Jay Leno, hey, welcome to America's Got Talent. So yeah, it was good. It was really exciting to be with Jay Leno on that, and that was when he was kind of had the big show, so he was doing pretty good at that point.
So
now he's retired.
You started your career as a professional seat filler. And that's that, and then you became. I mean, you've always been a comedian, but you gain material by doing all this stuff, like the professional seat filler. Now, tell us the story. This is fascinating, Fish. I picked up Mark at LAX. He came to LA a couple of months ago, and I said to him,
for the Academy Awards.
Yeah,
I was invited to a couple parties at the Academy Awards.
He likes to crash parties. Could you tell us the parties you crashed this year? He stays at a very nice hotel in Hollywood, the Godfrey, and I was his professional driver.
Hey, they have a nice pool deck. The Godfrey has a nice drinking party scene on the top floor. By the way, I didn't know that, and it was good. Okay.
How do you get into these parties? How do you crash these parties? You don't know anybody. Do you make up the proper credentials to get in? Do you have like a whole thing in your room where you do what you got to do so you have the right,
Well, I've been fortunate, and I'm not trying to, but a lot of people come up to me and they say, "I've seen you somewhere." Okay, and especially in LA, I'll go to these top restaurants in LA. Go, hey, how you doing? Hey, I'll hang out. I'll be right. And I get a seat. And I'm like, they think I'm somebody. I don't know if I look like somebody, but maybe they just can't figure it out. But maybe whatever. So kind of lucky on that.
Same thing happens to Fish. Same thing happens to Fish in Las Vegas.
Sure, sure.
Him, Mr.
Well,
Magoo.
when he's wearing a bikini, but okay. Now, but yeah, but you do get attention.
Yeah.
And I saw you on that basketball. Was that you on the basketball court doing something with the Forest and the basketball Fish? Was it you? Some segment?
No, he's on the Force with Tom Sizemore.
Yeah, right. Oh no, yeah, something. I saw you on some clip. But
okay. Yeah, you were in the Sam Perkins thing. That's what he's talking about. The cocktail.
Oh, Johnny Conn. Oh, wow, 1992.
Yeah,
that was Grunny's gig and trying to get a show done in 1992. Pilot.
Something. You're looking familiar. But anyway, so I would work that angle where I kind of dress up and say hi, and I just been very good with handling the eye contact and working the way in. And so the parties, CAA, Netflix, a number of them, I'm able to do it. My last name in real life is Levinson, and there seems to be these other Levinsons in Hollywood, so that worked out great, except it did not work at the Vanity Fair party this year. And the Vanity Fair party, I had my ID ready, and I had my asthma medication, and I said, and I don't have asthma. I don't have asthma.
I know that.
It's some name I found on the street. And so I walked up. I won't say how I got to the red carpet, but that was I don't want to increase the police force this year. but I got to the red carpet and I said to the guy, hey, just I had to go to my car, I had to get my asthma medication. He goes, well, yeah, you need a ticket. I don't know you. I go, no, I was just, he said, I've been here for the last couple hours. I don't know you. I said, all right. I pulled out my ID and I said, here's Levinson, my dad's Barry Levinson, my brother Eric. The guy looks at me, he looks at, before they had laptops, now they just have everything's on phone. And the guy goes, yeah, one problem. They're not here. They're not here yet. And I said, well, yeah, I'll wait for them and I'll get them all ready with the food. And he goes, yeah, I'll get him on the phone. No. So anyway, that almost got it. Almost. And the Vanity Fair party is the one, by the way, that you want to get in. And it was the toughest. They really have like perimeters, like three gatekeepers, I'll call them. And so, I think, years ago, the Emmys were, especially the Emmys, were easier to get into parties. But especially you can actually get into the award show. I've gotten into the Academy Awards when you're without even a ticket. But the reality now is that the security has changed. And the phones, people having these phones now, they can look up you and all that before they take you to a laptop. And so the technology changed. I don't recommend anybody. I mean, these guys did a movie, and Wedding Crashers is a great movie. But the reality is today, I can't do what I did before without really having a whole wealth of information and so forth. And the fact is, I've been on shows that have had millions of people. America's Got Talent, and on that show, 2 seasons, and they repeated one of the shows, like one of the segments, like 3 times. And so, and I was in their commercial that I played during The Office, so everybody watched The Office back then. And so a lot of people were saying, I've seen you. And I'm going, I did not want to brag and say, oh yeah, I was the guy that went like this on that commercial. But a lot of people seem to have some they see me and go, I think I know this guy. In San Francisco, I used to do the clubs, and people have seen, I've done a lot of corporate shows. So when I'm at corporate events or galas, charities, I have people going, hey, I saw you perform, and what are you doing here? I go, I'm actually paid ticket. So great times. I mean, great. These are parties you can't buy a ticket to. You can't buy a ticket to get in the shows either. So it's really a memorable time for sure. I mean, I'll never forget it.
Crashed one of these parties, Mr. Mystic, and you're a handsome guy. You're, part of the Levinson family. Barry's your dad. Have you ever met somebody, a girl who was enamored by you and your personality and your
Paris Hilton. Paris Hilton.
have you ever left with a woman or maybe a man? I don't know what you're into, but I think you're into women.
If it means fame, anything, baby, anything.
Yeah, you'll do anything to get anything. Okay.
Michael Jackson, it's me. Anyway,
yeah.
I have never with a star. So I've never dated a star or had a date with a star and star meaning someone you see on TV, on a weekly show. I'm available, but
after this podcast, about 3 people.
Everybody in Hollywood watches the show, right? Fish.
This one?
Yeah. How many? This is big. This is a big show, right?
It's very big. They come. Okay. They come for Fish.
I saw Carrot Top. Carrot Top.
Carrot Top. Fantastic. He was wonderful, wasn't he, Fish?
And he really was. And I liked. By the way, I watched after seeing him on the show, on your show. I watched clips of him on the old talk shows, and all his hair, and he's really funny. I mean, I don't want anybody picking on Carrot Top and saying prop comedy. He does prop comedy like Gallagher should take notes. I mean, if he's not around, but Carrot Top is to me because he just has fun with it. He has fun with it. He's not performing. You don't feel like he's performing. You feel like if there's no audience, he's still doing exactly what he's doing. If there's one person in the room, he's doing exactly that. So, by the way, Carrot Top, a great show. Great.
Yeah, Gallagher was his mentor. They were very close, and we learned a lot in the interview, didn't we, Fish? I mean, but he's so humble, like you, Mr. Mystic. Very humble guy, and he has stories that they go for days. I mean, it's amazing what he has done in his life and the people that he has met. If you watch the podcast, from Bill Clinton to Elizabeth Taylor, to Eric Fish Schneider. These are the people. But let me ask you this. This is very important. Do you have anything to promote? We're coming to the end of your segment.
The branding of the biotech, but I am I've got a couple gigs coming. I am starting to get back out there to the act. I've got a lot written out. During the pandemic, I wrote some incredible stuff. And I'm looking forward to you get that itch to go on stage. Nothing better than going on stage and having a great set.
It's a drug.
It's a drug, and it's the only reason you do it. Any comic that says I'm only doing it for money, I don't know. But if you're, like I said, Jay Leno said it best: take every gig you get. First off, if you don't want to take every gig you get, you shouldn't be doing the business because that's just how it is. And so I absolutely have I've been really busy with but you get to a point where you're getting caught up, and now you're in a happy place, so to speak, and I will be. I'm sure if I'm on the show again, I'll be able to either say
what show? This show?
Well, if I'm on the show, I mean this.
Again?
I'm actually gonna. I mean, after the show's over, after this taping, I'm gonna go to my camper. I'm going to go to my camper, and I'm going to just wait for the call from Cocktails to go on again, and I'll be ready. But I am getting ready to perform in 2 weeks at one club in San Francisco. But I'd rather, this is my first comedy show because I have a comedy club show. I've done a lot of corporate charities all the time, but there's a private. And but this is getting back in front of a live audience of people that are drunk. And people that are in a good mood. You're paying to go to a club to laugh. It's very different than I need to get going. What's this entertainer after dinner for? So this is really it's just there's nothing like it. And so I'm getting ready to get back out.
We love you because I believe, Fish, you with me? This man is going to get a Netflix special or something big? Something big is coming around the corner. You're a very talented guy.
I did have a meeting in LA that was pretty good. Yeah, no
Did you?
quite.
Oh,
Because
fantastic.
yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah. It's more on the science stuff. So
Okay.
it's
Oh, okay.
yeah,
But I want you to, because you're back in comedy now. This is what you do.
you'll never get out once you have had one crushing set on stage.
Yeah.
Where you just blow the crowd out and people are falling off the chair. And I had one of those back in 89 or 90 right there. and that was at the Punchline San Francisco. And that once you have that, it's at a professional comedy club. We're not talking a one-nighter or somewhere in the middle of nowhere where there's no other entertainment and people are just dying to do anything. But at a competitive club when there's 5 other clubs to go to, and you destroy, you never get that itch to do it again out. It's like your first home run in the big leagues. It's like the player changes overnight.
But you were out of the business for a while doing your trials and this new therapy, and now you're back. It's kind of like it's hard to pick up a book again, like if you had to go back to school, which I would never do. But you are now picking up the comedy book again, and I know you've done corporate and all that stuff, but you're really focusing on this now, correct?
Well, I would like, I always joke around where I can have a set where I'm getting paid $50, $100, free drinks, dinner at a club in the middle of Sonoma. And, and I'm getting ready for it. I'll get a phone call from either a venture capital or I have some other businesses and they want to talk about a $1 million plus contract. I tell them I need to call them back if I'm still getting ready. In other words, the passion of what you really love doing will always supersede, the actual day-to-day grind of something that you, of course, pays the bills and gets you to go to Europe and buy nice things. But to really fulfill yourself, you got to do what you love and at least work on it and never stop doing it. It's the moment you stop doing what you love,
right.
and a parent telling you to stop, making model airplanes as a kid or whatever you like doing, and having that shut out. It's really, I think, one of the most cruel things you could ever do to a child and to an adult. How many people get married and the partner says, "Okay, now we're married. You're not doing that anymore." It's like, okay. So that I've had a little bit of that issue, and so that obviously doesn't help. But now you get to a point where you're very happy with a number of things running right. I mean, I don't think I could have done this show a year ago just because where's my outfit? There was like, or 2 years ago during the pandemic, it was just like I lost track of my equipment. I mean, it's pretty wild.
I remember in school.
Yeah.
By the way, if you're ever in Vegas, you must go see this man. He works the graveyard. Oh no. You don't want Mr. Mystic in the bar?
No, the show's a good show.
If people want to gamble, not listen, he can't get a word in edgewise.
No, but he tells stories. We've learned about Marc, Mr. Mystic Levinson.
Yeah. Maybe you can come in with that hat and do magic so some of the people could win on the machines.
Well, I wrote a book on how to win at blackjack while wasted back in '99, and my agent or some people in LA said, "Don't put that book out. Don't put the book out," because I was tired of losing at that game when the dealer is always winning. How is the dealer always winning? But and there's a reason for it. So
Marc, I want to say this. This was very interesting. We had another guest on named PJ during our first shows. It was a disaster, but this has been wonderful. I've learned a lot about you. I've learned a lot about Mr. Mystic. I've learned a lot about your, you helping people with the therapies that you're coming up with for these diseases. I've learned how you get into a lockdown party for the Academy Award, for the Emmys, or the Grammys. You're a genius. I don't know why you did. Marc, thank you for being on the show.
Good times.
Fish, have you learned a lot, Fish? Are you a different person because you've met Mr. Mystic?
Oh, I'm a different person because I've met Mr. Mystic.
Look for Mr. Mystic at your local comedy club, especially in this San Francisco area.
MrMystic.com. I think it's still working. MRMYSTIC.com.
Yeah, look up his
And a
gigs.
TikTok channel is being worked on also, by the way. So
He's got a million things going. He's going to come back on the show, definitely.
I'd love to.
And we really love you. And it's funny, we reconnected, Fish, after many years. I had not seen Mark, and he came to LA, and we just picked up where we left off. And by the way, you're a good man. And ladies, he's single. Email us. We'll hook you up. We love to hook up people. We have a dating service called Fat Fish Dating. So if we can find you, of course, we do.
Wow.
We do everything. And if we can bring two beautiful people together like you.
What was that?
Yeah. Who? Oh, I don't know this guy, I don't know what he puts stuff up all the time. But he does. This is our 73rd show. We're still work in progress.
Wow!
It's our
congratulations, guys! I watched
show.
A lot of the clips, and I love the whole dynamic here. And
you're going to be back.
I want to be back. Thank you.
You will be back, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Marc, Mr. Mystic Levinson. Thanks, Mark.
Thanks, Mark. Look me up in Las Vegas.
Thank you, Mr. Look him up in Las Vegas. You look great. Really.
Thanks, guys. I'll see you later.
Very proud of you. The parents are
Have a great day. I'll see you.
You too. Thank you.
You're a funny man. Wow. Are you okay?
I'm fine. I'm just terrific. Yeah.
He's great. I love him.
Sure.
I've always loved him. He's very, very, he's kind of a mystery, right? And you never know what's going to happen with Mark. And that's what I like. I like people. It keeps us on our toes, right?
Well, when he's talking, I feel like these two guys. That's the original Beavis and Butthead. Okay.
No, really?
Yes. Now look at that. Look at Beavis and Butthead. Now, Mark, Mr. Mystic was great. He talks. I thought I talk a lot, but woo!
No. Nobody beats you.
No. If you asked me a question about Jay Leno, I wouldn't go to there's people that could go from A to B and tell the story, and there's people that go from A to Z. Okay. So, but he was very, very entertaining. I'm in a bad mood today because they announced they're making Paramount's doing a major motion picture about John Madden. And look, I love this guy. Do you see Nicolas Cage?
I know.
David O'Reilly. I mean, I love Nicolas Cage. I mean, one of my girls I went to high school with, Heidi, a friend of the show, was in Valley Girl with him. I just don't see it. I don't see it.
Well, they're going to put makeup on him. They're going to put makeup on him. Prosthetics. Don't you believe he might be the one? You don't think so?
I don't know.
I don't know. You
all
never
I know
know.
Is this. All I know is this, buddy.
He might surprise you.
You go to the Oakland Raiders and you talk about John Madden. This is really what it was. This is where you took a leak in Oakland. That's the trough in the Oakland Coliseum. All right. And
what happens if your ding dong is
that's the problem.
If it goes into the trough.
Not that. You're standing so close to guys. You don't want to get in a conversation. You could turn and I've gotten pissed on many times. I took Max to a game. He's like 12. I said, Max, whatever you do, get in and out of the fucking trough. And he comes out and he goes, Daddy, this guy peed on my jeans. It was Brad. But anyways.
It was me. I missed.
Speaking about Brad.
I want to tell you something about Dave Linden. Dave Linden did a commercial, a very funny commercial for a cellular company. It's two guys next to each other in a urinal, and Dave turns to the guy and goes, "Mine's bigger than yours."
Wow.
And then he was talking about the cell phone.
Oh, God.
It was so funny. It was brilliant. It was dead.
That's fantastic. I got two more, and then we'll close it out. Check this out.
Still with Dave Linden. You're cutting me off. Okay,
I love Dave Linden.
One of the greatest pleasures in life, reading a book.
If you see anything else, consult your psychologist. What do you think people look at when they look at that?
Right away, you think it's a woman in a guy's crotch.
Right.
Yeah. And then you look up and you see the pages, which you thought was her hair. That's brilliant.
Well, okay, so that's great. So we're going to segue to you because I was trying to fix you up. You're a great guy. Why, if this Mr. Mystic hang on. Well, I got a meme for you. If this Mr. Mystic can fornicate long enough while he's not talking on a woman to have two kids, okay, so she can come up for air. I mean, Jesus Christ, he's a Woody Allen movie. Love the guy.
Yeah.
This is you. This is Brad Grunberg because he believes in romance right here. And he's a trophy husband.
Oh,
Being a trophy husband is exhausting. That's Brad on his yacht, and he's just look at those
oh,
speedos.
I
That
look
is
great.
Brad Grunberg in Malibu off
Yeah.
his
Off the
obviously
coast.
his boat is called Chunky Love, and girls, he's
Yep.
talk about being single. Bingo.
That's my favorite Speedo, by the way. I wore the favorite Speedo that day.
Wow.
I look good in a Speedo, don't I?
Look good anything.
Thanks.
You know.
By the way, I want to do a shout out to Keith. How's he doing?
Keith's hanging in there. He's in Keith. It's tough on me. The chemo's kicking the shit out of him, but I've never seen a guy. And my dad succumbed to cancer, but we've all had people do it in our lives.
Yep.
Like my dad, the fight is incredible. If every human had the fight that this guy does, and he's just enjoying the life right now. It's young. He's young. He's 65 years old. Young.
Keith, I'm throwing the good mojo your way. I pray for you. I think about you, and I know you're going to be all right. And then we're going to have you on the show, and then you and I are going to go to a strip club. Is he married, Keith?
Oh yeah, Michelle. He's been married.
Okay.
Oh God, he's been married, high school sweetheart. So
that's wonderful.
40 some odd years. She's great.
That's
she's
nice.
been a rock in his whole process. It's my best friend Craig's first cousin. Great guy, and he's just the most positive person. And you know what you're going through. You're going through pancreatic cancer, and you know what the survival rate is. But he's never quit. Some people use the word succumb. They succumb to it and live their lives out. He believes he's going to beat it, and I believe with him. You know, be the 1%. All in life, be the 1%. All right.
Yeah. Keith, I have one question for you. Why Eric Fish Schneider? Why do you hang out with this guy? Why do you even talk to the guy?
He doesn't hang out with me. He doesn't. He lives in San. I just know him.
No, I understand that, but you guys are in touch, right?
Yeah, we text and this and that. I've always liked Craig's family and his cousin and great people.
Love you.
You know, just great. They're Southern California. The guy grew up in Simi Valley. He moved to San Diego years ago. Got a great family. And again, the fight, the character of his disposition is it's overwhelmingly passionate. And you talked about that I learned something. Yeah, I learned something. I learned that you want to be Rocky Balboa. It's not how hard you hit. It's how you take the hit and get up. That's what he's doing right now.
Keith, you are going to be all right, man. We're gonna laugh about this. We're gonna have a meal. We'll come down to San Diego to see you, or you come up to LA, and we'll have some laughs. Okay, I'll just sit there and just destroy Fish for you because I love you, buddy. Well, 73 is in the books. How do you feel? 73.
It's funny. I feel like when Nanny cackles, let me know. But that's just great.
Oh, by the way, it's so. Look what I got for you. Me and Nanny.
Yep.
Me and my best friend.
We're running a little late, but I'll say this.
Yeah.
Love your parents. Love your grandparents. Enjoy every moment you have with them. Because grandparents love you. The grandparents' love for a kid is like our love for our grandkids and our dogs. It's unconditional.
Oh,
God.
Let me ask you a question. I want to ask you a question on there. Is it important for the grandparents to call the grandkids or the grandkids to call the grandparents?
I think my grandkid's 2.5 years old, so she's not going to call me.
No. Just in general.
I think it's important for the grandkids to keep in touch because what it means, I know when my grandparents were alive, when I called, the inflection, the level of their voices rose. If I said to them, my grandfather Lenny, who was very big in my life, influential. If I called him and said, "Hey, Pop, I'm going to go pick you up. Get ready. I'm going to pick you up. We're going to go to Cantor's." Oh my God, it's the world. It's like he won the lotto. And you did the same thing with yours. You took your grandmother. How many times was it? Andre's down there in
Andre's Spaghetti, across from the
what
Grove.
is that? Fairfax and what? Third?
From the Grove. Fairfax and Third. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, do you remember when you called her and said, "Nanny, we're doing this"? You remember?
I had a different relationship with my grandma. I did everything with her. I took her to my premieres. I saw her every Saturday. I took her for her hair, for her produce, to the market. But I just sit in the car. She'd do her stuff, and then she'd bring the bag, and go, okay, I'll be right back. I'm going to Diamond Bakery to get a fresh challah, because that was the best. They put more sugar in the egg bread on Fridays. You see, I was different, but I'll tell you something. For all the people out there, grandkids, make sure you call or you go see your grandparents, because they've already lived their life. They want to hear about your life. That's the most important thing.
And the most important thing, you have grandkids in your family. The most important thing is they look at you. You're the legacy of the family. It's the last thing they think of is, oh my God, there's a legacy of the Klein and the Grunberg family, Nanny Klein. And that's what they look at. Oh my God, thank God I have a grandkid.
Is 92 years old.
Yeah.
He's not going to start working at Starbucks tomorrow. Okay. I mean, he has his routine, and his grandkids. Yeah, they need to come over and see him, and he loves his grandkids. He loves them.
I'll tell you one quick story before you get out, because I can edit some of this and get it out. But my grandmother, she never drove, because she was born in Brooklyn. You didn't have to drive. So I would go from the city to the valley and pick her up. And she had to go to like 6 different supermarkets because she had coupons.
Right.
This is the most demure. My nanny Rose, Lenny, that I talked about, her, break a long story short, she was the most demure, quiet lady, except when she went to the produce section. She would look at the grapefruits and go, and she cursed. She goes, how's this goddamn 39 cents? Price is Right is having less. It was the funniest thing on the planet. I took her to Gelson's. I took her to Ralph's. I took her to any suit. Remember Mayfair markets in LA? Did a Mayfair? Oh my God, they don't have them anymore. But I did it because I love being around her. And then here's the kill. If I took her to the market, whatever I got, she took it back to her apartment and she cooked for me. And just, honey, how was your day? How was bartending at Mom's? Did you meet a nice girl? That kind of shit.
That's nice. But that's what they do. That's how they live. They're in the home stretch. They want to hang out with their grandkids. That's why grandkids are so special to them. So listen.
Last thing I'll say, and you did it too. Ask them about their lives. They have so many stories. Your dad's 90. Right. Your dad is 92. He lived in the greatest era, I think, the 50s. He was a kid in the 50s. He remembers World War II. Ask them about. You think that the world is shit now and it is divided and we have a lot of crap? They went through it too. World War II was scary, with tyranny. Ask Jerry Grunberg or ask my grandfather. I used to love the stories about you. Here's a typical grandfather thing. You think what? You think Pete Rose is great? He goes, I saw Joe DiMaggio. I saw Babe Ruth play. And oh my God, you did? And you hear the stories. It's great.
No, let me tell you something. It's wonderful. Now, if I listen to my grandma, she told me things, and I'd always say, come on, you're an old lady. What do you know? She knew so much. And it's coming today. I hear her talking in my ear, and I've made some, I've pivoted in my life. I made some changes, but if I did it back when she was just, we used to hang out, she used to give me so much advice about money, about friends, about people. She was way ahead of her time. Listen to your grandparents. They've already lived their life. They've already made the mistakes. They don't want you to. So don't be a know-it-all, a smart guy or smart girl. Listen to your grandparents and go see them today. Go see them. Call them up. Go see them. Hang out with them, and they'll tell you stories, and you'll laugh and all that good stuff.
Before Lyndon gets us out of here, remember this: they're also living their lives through you. They love your stories.
Right? Oh yeah.
I mean, we could go on forever about this. This is great conference. This is great banter. But
I think we should have subject grandparents on the show. We'll
absolutely.
I think we got to talk about that.
You look what they went through. They didn't have air conditioning when they grew up. Ice was delivered and milk in a truck. You know. Then they see you on your phone. Hey, Grandma, what was that street you lived on in Brooklyn? 103rd Street and Delancey. You go on your phone and show them what's there right now. Oh shit, it's a Starbucks. You couldn't do that back then. So it's just great stuff.
We're gonna have that show on, ladies and gentlemen. That's Eric Fish Snyder. I am Brad Grunny Grunberg, aka Snacks. Show number 73 in the books. We'll see you next week with 74. Dave Linden, take us home.
Give me the cackle.
You've been listening to the Fat Fish Podcast, heard on all your favorite platforms. Until next time.
I love you, Manny. I love you.